Savairatnam tutam drištva.
Savairatnam tutam drištva.
Savairatnam tutam drištva.
Savairatnam tutam drištva.
Atmeshvaryati shakyanam.
Atmeshvaryati satyanam.
Atmeshvaryati satyanam.
Atmeshvaryati satyanam.
Tannatriyata yagyotriyam.
Tannatriyata yagyotriyam.
Tannatriyatam gniyotriyam.
Tannatriyatam gniyotriyam.
Sabilasa sahehayaya.
Sabilasa sahehaya.
Sabilasa sahehayaya.
Sabilasa sahehaya.
Saviratnam tutat drištva.
Saviratnam tutat drištva.
Atmeshvaryati shayanam.
Atmeshvaryati shayanam.
Tannatriyatagnihotriyam.
Tannatriyatagnihotriyam.
Savilasa sahehayah.
Savilasa sahehayah.
Savairatnam tutat drištva.
Savairatnam tutat drištva.
Atmaisvaryati sayanam.
Atmaisvaryati sayanam.
Tannadriyatagni otriyam.
Tannadriyatagni otriyam.
Savilasa sahayaya.
Savilasa sahayaya.
Savairatnam tutat drištva.
Savairatnam tutat drištva.
Atmeshvaryati shayanam.
Atmeshvaryati shayanam.
Tannatriyatagni otriyam.
Tannatriyatagnihotriyam.
Savilasa sahehaya.
Savilasa sahehaya.
Saha. Hi Kartirvyarjuna.
He Kartaviri Arjuna.
Vai.
Indeed.
Ratnam.
Ratnam.
A great source of wealth.
A great source of wealth.
Indeed. That the Kamadenu in the possession of
In the possession of Jamadagni.
Drištva
Drištva.
by observing Atma Ishvarya, his own personal opulence, Atisayanam, which was exceeding, Tat, Griyata, appreciated very much,
Agnihotriyam.
In that cow which was useful for executing the Agnihotra sacrifice. Sahavirasa became desirous. Sahayaya with his own man, the Hayaya. Translation and purport by Giri. Kartirvyarjuna thought, so the context is that we are in the middle of a history that happened during Parashura's time, means in the Tetra Yuga, very long ago, where a king, Kartirvyarjuna, Kartirvirya, was very powerful and was not trained in the forest, and he came upon the Jamadagni ashram and invited himself, and Jamadagni was able to provide for the king and his retinue with food, with everything, because he had a very nice cow, a Kamadenu cow, that could fulfill all desires. So now text 25, Kartirvyarjuna thought that Jamadagni was more powerful and wealthy than himself because of possessing a jewel in the form of the Kamadini. Therefore, here, and his own men, the Hayayas, were not very much appreciative of Jamadagni's reception. On the contrary, they wanted to possess that Kamadini, which was useful for the execution of the Agnihotra sacrifice. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Jamadagni was more powerful than Kartirvyarjuna because of performing the Agnihotra yagya with fire butter received from the Kamadini. Not everyone can be expected to possess such a cow. Nonetheless, an ordinary man may possess an ordinary cow, give protection to this animal, take sufficient milk from it, and engage the milk to produce butter and clarified ghee, especially for performing the Agnihotra yagya. This is possible for everyone. Thus, we find that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advises Goraksha, the protection of cows. This is essential because if cows are cared for properly, they will surely supply sufficient milk. We have practical experience in America that in our various ISKCON farms, we are giving proper protection to the cows and receiving more than enough milk. In other farms, the cows do not deliver as much milk as in our farms, because our cows know very well that we are not going to kill them. They are happy and they give ample milk. Therefore, this instruction given by Lord Krishna, Goraksha, is extremely meaningful. The whole world must learn from Krishna how to live happily without scarcity, simply by producing food grains, Anad Bhavanti Bhutani, and giving protection to the cows, Goraksha. Shri Goraksha Vaniyam Vaishya Karmasva Bhavajani. Those who belong to the third level of human society, namely the mercantile people, must keep land for producing food grains and giving protection to cows. This is the injunction of Bhagavad Gita. In the matter of protecting the cows, the meat eater will protest, but in answer to them, we may say that since Krishna gives stress to cow protection, those who are inclined, like hogs, dogs, goats, and sheep, but they should not touch the life of the cow, for this is destructive to the spiritual advancement of human society. Chaitanya Mano Vishnu Stapitam Nahitare Swagar Bankanamaya Nadati Swapanatikam He Krishna Karina Sintu Hiravami Chakyapati Krishna Opika Kanta Yata Kanta Namaste Takashama Gorangi Rati Vishwari Vishamanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pachakalpatarubhya Shakripa Sintu Jai Machu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are in the middle of a very important story from the Puranas in the 9th canto before the smile of Krishna, depicted as the 10th canto. So what is important in this story is to understand that when we read the past verse, if you remember, Kartirvyarjuna was a devotee of Lord Dattatreya. in his early times. And received so much power that gradually he forgot who he was worshipping. Because he got 1,000 arms, so much wealth, so much power in the senses, in his strength, but unfortunately not so much in his intelligence. Because that was deeply rooted in his heart to have this thing as a king and to enjoy these opulences. Gradually he became influenced by the mode of passion. And because he took it for himself. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Machita Samadugami, Matpashanat Tarishati, Atachetva Mahankara, Nasoshachi, Vinanchaki. Krishna explained that by his grace, one will cross all the problems in the material life, provided we listen to him. But as soon as we close our ear, everything will be lost. So we come upon the case of a very advanced and a very dear devotee of the Lord, but he get, in a way or another, he got entangled by all these facilities that were given to him. And we have this detail that to prove his immense strength with his arms and the body, he stopped the river, Narmada river, or something like that. He stopped the flow of the big river, and it caused some problems on amont, because some Ravan was camping with his army upstream. Amont, I was just upstream, upstream. Because some heavy problems to the people upstream by causing the inundation and of some flooding of this area. And then there was a fight because of that. But we can see that the intelligence of this king was already bewildering, because by making this show of strength, he would not benefit anybody. He just would benefit his own big ego. So that's the problem with the false ego. He forgot this position as being a real servant of the Lord, that is developing the real ego, and he took for himself all these advantages that the Lord gave him. So the false ego is something difficult to understand, because that's the most subtle gross element from the material world. It's not so gross, it's more subtle, but it's difficult to get rid of it. Like we have in water, we have some dilution of some particles, like the painting of acrylic, it's some little balls inside, very tiny, you can filter them. And when you have gross impurities in the water, you can filter them. But when you put some ink on it, you need a nanotechnology to get rid of this ink. It's much more difficult and elaborate to filter water that is mixed with milk or salt, for example, because the molecules are so intermingled with the water that it requires a lot of energy and factory to make the filtration. So similarly, the real ego of the living entity is covered by this false identification of ourselves. And we think falsely that we are the center of the universe and things are made for us. And this has to be changed, and this is a change of the heart that is not so easy to do. For filtering water, you require a big mechanic operation. But for this heart operation, no ever, comment on dit, chirurgien, surgeon, something like that can do it. Nobody can do it. Because it's beyond even the mind, the intelligence. It's something we can a little apprehend by its effect on the way we deal with others and material energy in general. So when people are affected by this, they grossly think that everything is for their own benefit. So some religious people, they think that animals are there, they are for us to enjoy. So they give philosophical interpretation like that to explain that cow suffering is, well, it's here for us. When you hear Daniel, who was the head of a church in Paris, speaking with Prabhupada, yes, animals are for us, they are at our disposal. And Prabhupada tried to forcibly preach to him, but he could not grasp it. So, because too much in ignorance and passion, the intelligence cannot grasp really what the things are really in the light of knowledge. Thank you. So this king became entangled in such a big war after. He had to fight with Ravan. Ravan got in prison. He was liberated by Ram on the advice of Lord Shiva, who was their spiritual master. And then Kartika Arjuna continued, although he was killed, his born family, his sons were also in the same kind of mentality as him. And it became a big war actually, because Parashuram killed all the sons of Kartika Arjuna. And not only that, but so many Kshatriyas were behind them, and they have to be killed 27 times 3, 71 times, completely eradicated. It was a big blood, it was we can call like a nuclear mondial war that happened because of Kartika Arjuna. We see that such a powerful man, he dragged all these people in such a big conflict that was the source of so many dead people afterwards. And not only that, but those Kshatriya were obliged, so fearful of Parashuram, they went away, and that the Slav people, the Russians, the Europeans, the Saxons, the Americans, the English, all these people, they come from those dynasties. They fly away in difficult countries, far away from the heat, the light, like that, to hide themselves and to protect them from Parashuram. So we see that this pastime actually had a lot of consequences upon millions and millions of people. He started with a little spark, and then a big forest went in fire. So many people were killed. So we can see how dangerous it is by associating with what Lord Chaitanya advocates us to avoid at all costs. Nadanam, najanam, nasundam. To avoid the association of woman, money, and followers. Because these things, they have a tendency to counteract the effect of chanting Hare Krishna. They have the effect of inflating the false ego, in spite of reducing it. The chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Rama is deflating our false ego and revealing our real ego, which is we are servant of the Lord. So oppositely, associating with the lower modes of nature have the tendency to inflate the false ego, to twist our intelligence, and we lose the protection of our Krishna. Eventually to the point of that we commit offenses to other living entities and to devotees. And then we lose our position and then everything is lost. That's what Krishna says. If you close your ear, everything will be lost. We have not to be thinking that because we are devotees, we are aloof of everything. Prabhupada is aloof of everything. He's not tempted by all these riches and he was not identified. But we have the strong tendency to do it and to be reconnected with our own, and it's so easy. That's why we need to sharpen our intelligence every day. We have to learn from the Bhagavatam, to learn from the devotees, we have to hear attentively the Mahamantra. All these things are there to eradicate our false conception, basically to eradicate our false ego. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained the ideal occupation for most of humankind. Because normally in Indian culture, most of people were occupied by Goraksha and Anad Bhavanti Bhutani, producing cereals, food grains. That was the main occupation of the people. When you see India is so many little land that were able to maintain so many people. And a small portion of those people were Kshatriya for protection, and even smaller proportion of these people were Brahmins, who were supposed to give good advices to the kings and to the administrators. So that's why here Krishna, Srila Prabhupada emphasized the protection of the cows. Because it's a warm process where we don't develop so much material desire, and we live a simple life, not so many machines, not so much huge quantity of money or false money going from one stop to another and completely destroying the mind of investor and also common people, who are just stuck after because the money has no value. So here we see the kind of Vedic life that Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing, giving emphasis. The process is that when we use the milk for producing ghee, the process was that the ghee was used for executing Agnihotra in the past centuries. From this sacrifice, it's explained that rains pours down easily because the demigods are satisfied, because the Supreme Lord is satisfied also. As a result, you have plenty grass, plenty food for everybody, for the cows and for your humble self. And this process makes everything rotating according to the law of the universe, and you become eventually rich. India was so rich in the past. They don't have so much petrol or minerals that they were exploiting so much. They were just rich with their own way of living. And people, they were exporting silk, things, knowledge, way to do artistic things, so many handicrafts the Indians are expert at. And this is all subproduct because people are just pious and they understand the way things are going on, and they make offering. The offering satisfies the supreme authorities, and the result are given automatically to everybody in the form of rain. So the problem actually in our country is that world is that there is no rain. The problem is not the heating of the climate. It is okay if it heats up or no. The problem is that there is no water, no rain. When there is heat and no rain, then there is a problem. Eventually you get the scarcity of food. And this problem is rampant because there's no enough sacrifice done in the world and people are not pious. So the devotees are here to counteract this state of things, and the best yajna that can be executed in this age is just barely the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
By this we become aloof from the allurement of the material energy. We keep our intelligence sharpened, and we can really help people to give the real medicine, not just lowering the boil. The diet and the way to do things, the way to purify our existence by purifying our habits, following the four regulative principles. If people in the society are inclined to follow those principles, gradually their intelligence will be clarified and they can understand what is said in Bhagavad Gita. Because we can see that the Brahman Jamadagni, actually he had everything. He could have built himself a palace, so much charming, a town for himself, so much things the Kamadeva would give them. He didn't. He was just in need of milk product. Give things to simple life. He was not intoxicated. We can see the difference of mentality in between Jamadagni and Kartyavyarjuna. Jamadagni was so advanced in renunciation that he did not think for himself but for the benefit of all people. While the king Kartyavyarjuna was being a devotee at the beginning, he lost the divine vision, and he became a demon, practically speaking. He acted as a demon and he was treated as a demon. Of course, because of his devotional activities, he was ultimately killed by Parashuram himself and promoted certainly to the spiritual world in a way or another. Like Ravana also. Same. Playing the role of a demon. Here we can see that Kartyavyarjuna was a devotee and he played the role of a demon in the due course of time. So this is very instructive for ourselves. Protect our devotional life from this allurement. Nice woman, lot of money, and adoration from people in general. These things are contaminating mind, intelligence, and inflating the false ego. So that's why generally sages are kept aloof from that. And generally Krishna makes arrangement for them to be kept poor in a humble situation. Like that, the devotee is more safe. But it may happen, but generally that's not the case, but it may happen that some devotees, they may have to be in contact with huge amount of money, women, and also a lot of followers. Actually, when we enter Grihastha life, we will be confronted with those things. We can't avoid. You will have to touch women, you will have to touch money, and you will have some followers, someone who helps you in your business or just children. You have to expect these things. But at the same time, you are supposed to maintain your Krishna consciousness. And to understand what is the influence of these things, and in your spiritual life, you can be sure that you will feel the temptation to exploit those things. But at the same time, if you keep sharpening your intelligence, you will be like on the beach, in between dry sand and wet water. You understand the possibility of the jiva soul to be on influenced by the material energy or soaking in the nectar of internal energy. This is our position. So we have to keep in mind to do the good choice while we are here, and to keep our staunch vows. This is description of the Mahatma, the real Mahatma. In Bhagavad Gita, so many people are exploiting Bhagavad Gita is political upgrading, ascension. Or they want to seduce people, especially in India, because they follow Bhagavad Gita and they advertise so many things from Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna explained, what is this verse? What is the definition of the Mahatma? Mahatmanastu mampata, devim pakiti mashi, vajanatyananyam manasu, yadatva bhutati madhyaya. Krishna gives the definition of who is really a Mahatma. He is one who is protected by this daily prakriti. He is protected by law and is absorbed in the adoration of Lord Krishna. So in Bombay, some life member asked Prabhupada, why are the Indians so poor, who are supposed to be pious and more advanced spiritually, and then who are so poor? Prabhupada explained that India is so poor because the so-called spiritualists are actually cheaters, and they exploit the scriptures for just earning basic necessities of life. They are using the shilas to crack nuts and get food. That was the disease that they were interpreting the scriptures for their own benefit, not for the benefit of people. They were so-called Mahatma, but they were not actually to the definition. According to the definition of Bhagavad Gita, only the devotees are real Mahatma. There is this other verse, Satatam kirtanyantumam, yakantacha dridavarta, namashantacha manitya, tushantisha. Nitya yuta upasati. Very firm in their vows, drida vrata. These are the devotees. Even in adverse circumstances, they keep their vows and they push on spiritual sadhana. So this is the definition of Mahatma. And why India has been so poor and has been robbed of his real riches, which is spiritual advancement, because the message became diluted. Bhagavad Gita became diluted. So Srila Prabhupada came to explain what the real aim of Bhagavad Gita is to actually promote Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti is so much, this world is everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. And only the real Mahatmas are Bhakti Yogi. Yoginam apisamesham madgatinam tarata shadavam bhajate yomam soyam mataha. Those who worship me are the topmost of the yogis and the spiritualists. They are those who practice the real universe. So a great weight, a great responsibility is resting on the shoulders of the devotee, so that they become serious to the point of people really recognize their holy qualities and have faith in them. And even a small percentage of the population that become Krishna conscious can change the whole course of the war, actually, because the war is in very bad shape. So it's very interesting how Srila Prabhupada appeared at a gap in two ages. That's more or less meant for a certain kind of civilization, and we are starting a new model of civilization based in the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada. It's a heavy responsibility. So I will read the verse again. Avaratnam. Avaratnam tutam drishva atmeshvaya saranaki tannabriyatam hinotriyam sabdhyasa ahesahaya. Captive Arjuna felt that Madani was more powerful and wealthy than himself because of possessing a jewel in the form of the Kamadini. Therefore, each and his own names were not very much appreciated for Madani's succession. On the contrary, they wanted to possess that Kamadini, which was useful for the execution of the Agnihotra sacrifice. Maybe some comments or questions?
Just that makes me think of one thing Prabhupada said, that some devotees they ask once Prabhupada, how is it that we see in America they don't follow anything, they don't follow any dharma, any rules, anything, and they have so much material opulence, normally dharma artha, and they have so much opulence. So Prabhupada he just answered 2 words. He said, just wait.
Yeah, that's it. The wheel of fortune, chanchara, unstable, is always rotating. So Americans have been basically so much rich because they trick the money. They printed so much money, and with faith, they induce faith to other people. And people are faced that the money has some value. But after some time, the people realize that it is the king is naked. The money is fake. We are at a crossroad where people are starting to realize how synthetic is our economic model. Not based on real riches, it's all finance. The riches that's behind may be there, but it is so temporary. Like a fire, blank, no electricity, no nothing, or a mistake, transistor that burns inside, no fire. It's the passion. Typically because these machines are completely passionate. So the rituals that are coming from it, they are also temporary. It's a question of time it collapses. Real rituals for the spiritualist to keep the jewel of Krishna in his heart. And externally, he produces other kind of jewels. But to go to these jewels, you have to go deep in the ocean of devotion. If you stay up on the upper layer of the ocean, you have algs and small fishes. The real pearls are deep in the bottom of the ocean, as the jewels also. You have to go to swim, to be serious. You have to know it is there, and you have to swim and make some endeavor to get them. So devotees also in their spiritual life, if they want to get love of God, they have to churn a little bit the ocean. It doesn't come so much easy. You have to cry for Krishna. This crying is not, I have to cry, I have to cry. You have to have some relation, to have some genuine crying for Krishna. This is the real riches of the devotee. And it will not go away even at the time of death. Those riches, American, Occident, English, French, German riches, all this, they go and they will go away. They come and they go away. Because it's not, it's like, it's karmic and it is happening and it is going away. Like everything good and everything bad also. The war is coming, but it will go away also. But the devotee will say, because the Ridavaga, they are firm in their words, they understand all things are going on. So those spiritualists and good speaker, when a heavy situation will come, they will run away. They will forget everything. The devotee, no. They will stay starch because they understand. They have deep vigor and realization. This is the difference. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Giri Govardhan Prabhu ki
Jai.